What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of the Six Pack Secrets Challenge. Just a quick recap of everything that we went over yesterday for those who missed it. I know we had a few technical glitches and some people didn't get the link to get on. So I just want to recap really quickly some of the things we went over yesterday so we can dive into the content for today. So a few quick reminders. We will not be doing workouts on these calls. I know that I've had a few people message me like, oh man, I'm sore, I'm injured, I can't work out on the call today. We're not doing workouts. That's not what this is about. To be frank, look, you can go find workouts anywhere. I am going to give you some workouts to do, but if all you needed was workouts, everybody would have a six pack, right? So you could go look up all types of ab workouts on YouTube. It's great. But I'm going to tell you what actually really works to give you the maximum effect to get the abs. And I'll give you that to do on your own time. We will not be doing workouts on these calls. The calls are going to be about 45 minutes or so. I'm going to keep it really brief. I know everybody's joining in their evening. It's around dinner time. People want to chill. But I want to get the learning in after work hours. So it'll be like 30 minutes. And if people have questions, we'll do another 15 minutes of Q&A. And you can drop your questions in the chat at any time. Or if you want to do them at the end, then we can, go and actually have a conversation and do the Q&A verbally. So just a quick recap of yesterday. I know I told my story. My name is Ethan King. I'm just a normal dude. I run 2 businesses. I don't have a lot of time to work out during the day, but I managed to lose weight and go from being chubby to getting a six pack. And I did that through a lot of, let's see, how do I do this? A lot of trial and error, but also I went and learned the scientific method from my cardiologist friend. He strapped me up to this high-tech stuff and showed me exactly how to do the high-intensity interval training, the exact workouts to do, and held me accountable for doing those workouts from across the country, and that made all the results. And so what I ended up doing in 2020, when after winning the cover of Best Self magazine, I had a lot of people contacting me about, well, hey, what is your regimen? How do you, what's your routine? What are you eating? And I put together this whole package and I would give it to people for free, but they didn't act on it until I created a platform, a business out of it. I designed a 6-week program. You can call it 6 weeks to a six pack, and that helped people actually get results. And some of those results you can see here. This is an actual student who was age 50 at the time of this and lost 16 pounds in 6 weeks. We have another actual student here with their before and after pictures, and another student here. That first picture, he had started working out 4 months before he joined Six Pack Dads, and then these last 2 are his before and after from Six Pack Dads. And then one of my favorites here, this is actually a 60-year-old gentleman who came through our program. So he has grandkids. He's a six-pack granddad, but he followed the steps and he was able to get the six-pack of his dreams. And some other things we talked about yesterday was that your reticular activating system. So that is it's a part of your brain that trains you to see things, patterns in the world. It's a survival mechanism that we were all built with. It's the reason why when you see a certain color car, like let's say you're shopping for a white Tesla, you start to see white Teslas everywhere. It's not because there are more of them on the street, but it's because your brain has trained itself in your subconscious to see that. So the reason that's an important part of this is because if you train your brain to see people out there with a six pack who are your age, your same background, your same demographic, and you see, well, this is actually possible, and you see it more and more and more, that will train your subconscious to help you actually get that, because if they can do it, then you can too. But on the other hand, if you train your brain to only see the negative and to only see fat dudes over 40, then that is what you're going to end up becoming, because that's what you see. So train your brain to see what you want it to be, what you want to be. We also talked about how some gyms mislead you, which is really what prompted me to do this challenge. I'm doing this completely free. There is no catch here. There's no gimmicks. If you want to work with me, I'm sure you know how to. You're super smart. You can go look up Six Pack Dads and you can sign up for the actual full program there if you want to. Again, no obligation. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I do that also, but it is very high-end. It's one-on-one. It's $30,000 to work with me as a one-on-one client. I work with a lot of high-end executives who are trying to achieve different results in their lives, not just physically, but also breakthroughs in their business or in their relationships as well. Again, no obligation, but if you want to check it out, I'm sure you can find that information on your own. But what prompted me to do this is, on New Year's, we see these ads for Planet Fitness. They host the whole New Year's Eve Times Square thing, right? And it's funny because if you look at Planet Fitness, it's like a $10 a month gym membership. And the reason they want you to do that is because they actually don't want you to come to the gym. Because if everybody had this $10 a month membership, and if everybody who had a membership actually came to the gym, they wouldn't have room for everybody. So this is the actual crowd meter from when I go to the gym, and it's never above like 1 bar or 2 bars. That's because they want it to be empty. They want you to keep paying that $10 a month for the rest of your life and to never come to the gym and make them rich. And then on top of that, they had this on the wall. I took this actual picture with my phone the other day. And the first Monday of the month is pizza night. The second Tuesday is bagel morning. Listen, guys, pizza and bagels are like the worst things you can eat that will counteract your fitness. So, I mean, it just is what it is. Like, they are not good things to eat. And it's the wheat gluten that is in the pizza and the bagels. So by them offering this as a reward and triggering the dopamine release in your brain to get you to keep coming back for it, it's actually really diabolical, because they want to keep you working out and not seeing the results, but you get the reward from the pizza and the bagels. Now, there are substitutes. Like, I love pizza, but I do cauliflower crust pizza. And we'll talk more about substitutes for food on tomorrow, because that's when we're going to dive deep into nutrition. Yesterday, we also went over the equipment list, and I shared with everybody my exact minimum equipment list and I gave you a link. I'll drop it in the chat again today, so that and it should be in your email as well. But if you didn't get it, I'm going to go ahead and drop it here. That was your homework assignment, to get the equipment. So I hope you did that. It's Amazon. You can just load my cart right in there through this app called Share a Cart, and you can edit it as you see fit, because you might already have some of these things. Of course, you can change the shoe size or whatever, but just make sure you get some good workout running shoes. But this equipment will allow you to work at home and not have to drive to the gym, because driving to the gym is a deterrent. Studies show that long commutes are correlated with depression and unhappiness and weight gain and high blood pressure. So if you, like most people, you already have to commute to work, then why add on a commute to the gym? That's only counteracting your fitness goals again. So try to get the easiest path to burning that fat and to getting that workout in. You want the path of least resistance. So if you can avoid driving to the gym, avoid it by any means. My gym is about a 15-20 minute drive away each way. And I go there. I have a gym membership just to go there sometimes. Like if it's freezing cold, rainy outside and I just don't want to go outside and run, I'm glad I'm able to go there and jump on the treadmill. I have a treadmill at home too, but it's not as durable for me to get those powerful hit runs in. So try to work out at home, and you need that base level equipment. It's not very expensive at all. So today we're going to be, we also went over this a little bit yesterday, but today we're going to be talking about burning fat. Because no matter how you slice it, like I don't care who tells you don't need cardio, you have to burn the fat. But you got to do it the right way. You don't have to get out there and run for hours a day. You don't even really have to run. There's other ways you could do it. You could swim, you could bike. There's a lot of things you could do. But the goal here is to get rid of this visceral fat that you see where the X is on the belly. And as you burn that visceral fat, which protects your organs, because visceral fat, like we talked about yesterday, actually is directly linked to cardiovascular disease. So it's not about vanity. Having a six pack will actually help you live longer because it reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease. So, what we're doing in the whole methodology behind this is you want to burn the fat away while you also build the muscle. But the muscle you want to build is in your like upper chest area, your arms, because if you see guys that are built and ripped and have a nice physique, their chest sticks out over their stomach. Whereas most guys you see with the dad bod look like this guy here on the left, whose belly is hanging over his belt and out protruding beyond the chest. So you don't want that. You want the opposite. So the reason this diagram is important is because as we get older, we have gravity weighing against us, and it's going to pull down our muscles over time. So you want to do workouts that are working out the upper chest here. So we're going to go over like incline push-ups, marine press, things like that, where you're working out the upper part and you're counteracting gravity. Pull-ups are a big part of that as well. So the first myth that we are going to dispel today is that caffeine is bad for you. Caffeine is actually really, really good for you. Study after study after study has proven that it keeps your brain sharp. It gives you mental clarity and energy. It helps burn fat and curb your appetite. I start off every morning with a cup of black coffee, and throughout the day, just about every day, I drink a can of Coke Zero. Now, a lot of people be like, oh, sodas are bad for you, this and that. Like, I've been doing this for years. I mean, over decades, I guess. And I feel sharper than ever. I look younger than I really am. And I mean, I'm 44 years old. I feel like I have the energy of a 24-year-old. And I feel great, and I feel mental clarity and everything. So the problem with caffeine is that most people, oh, this light's flickering. Let me change this. So the problem with caffeine is that most people pour a bunch of cream and sugar into their coffee in the morning. And that's where the trouble comes in, because now you got a bunch of excess junk that you don't need that your body has to burn off. But even that isn't as terrible. You know, people give sugar a bad rap, but as long as you're burning it off, it's not as bad, but it does kind of set you back a little bit. And then when it comes to soda, I say Coke Zero, because it has 0 calories, it doesn't have any sugar, and it gives you that stimulant, and it also helps you feel more full and curbs your appetite. So that's the first myth that I want to dispel. Caffeine is great for you, and if you take like a fat burner pill, but you got to take the right one, because some of them are kind of bogus and can be harmful, and I'll tell you which ones to take. But the more caffeine early in the day, the better. You want to cut off your caffeine intake by, I would say, like 2 p.m. at the latest, or even noon. It kind of depends on your schedule, but you don't want to be drinking any caffeine within, say, 6 hours before bed, because caffeine has a half-life and it has to work its way out of your system. But get the benefits, get those fat burning benefits of caffeine early in the day. The second myth is that running is bad for your knees. The truth of it is, you'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't run because it's gonna make your knees bad and this and that." That is total BS. In fact, studies show, and I'm reading from this here, studies show that regular running might decrease your risk of arthritis later in life. And it's because the compression that occurs in your knees as you run brings more fluid to the joints to keep them lubricated. So that means when you sit still, that's actually worse on your knees. When you're sitting at your desk all day, when you're sitting in the car all day, when you're sitting down, Netflixing and chilling, that is what's bad on your knees. And the more you do that, then of course, the more difficult it is to run, because it feels bad, because your joints aren't lubricated. They aren't used to it. But if you get out there and you move around every day, then at every age, running can benefit your joints and your overall health. Now, I know it's tough to start. Believe me, I hated running. Like, running was the worst thing in my life. But there's ways to mentally trick your brain to reduce what are called the pleasure chemicals. And those pleasure chemicals are your dopamine, your oxytocin, your serotonin, and your endorphins. And the way you boost those pleasure chemicals is, well, first of all, dopamine, like when you get out there and you exercise, well, the way I did it is I signed up for a race. I signed up for the Peachtree Road Race. First time I did it, I think was in 2008. My brother talked me into it. Man, I was never a runner, and I did not want to get up like early in the morning on, let me get rid of this. On the 4th of July. It was a holiday I wanted to sleep in, but he convinced me to get out there and do the race. And you got 60,000 people around you. You're running. I mean, it's 6 miles through the heart of Atlanta. You get to see the city from a different perspective that you've never seen it. Your adrenaline's pumping. So that's giving you that dopamine release. It literally forms an addiction because of these pleasure chemicals that are being released in your brain. And then the oxytocin you get from all the other people being around you. And then the serotonin and the endorphins, all of that comes from the actual exercise and the sunlight and the sweat and the things that are coming off. So when you have those things, and it spells DOSE, it literally helps form an addiction to whatever you're doing. So I would advise like signing up for a race or something like that so you can stimulate those pleasure chemicals and make yourself addicted to something that you hate. Just get out there and try it. It'll change your life. Now, running gets easier also with the proper shoes. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. But if you're out there running in really bad shoes that aren't running shoes, it's going to hurt your feet. It's going to hurt your knees. It's going to feel like the worst thing ever. Getting the right shoes can just change everything for you. It actually improves your oxygen efficiency in your muscles as you run. Make sure you stretch well. And the thing about it is, as you get out there and walk and run, because you don't have to just run all the time. Walking in zone 2 will burn a lot of fat. But what that will do is as your body gets lighter, it actually gets easier. Because for a lot of people, when you first get out there, you have all of that heavy weight because you're overweight and it's pushing down on your knees. So of course it's going to hurt. But as you lose weight, running and walking gets easier and easier and more enjoyable. Another trick is to find something that you want to listen to keep your brain occupied. One deterrent is that it can get boring, so you need to have something super interesting. I love listening to audiobooks, learning about business, learning about like supernatural stuff in life, learning about just all kinds of things, all kinds of life hacks. I love audiobooks, I love podcasts. It keeps my brain engaged while I'm running. And of course, music is great, but after a while, I felt like music was getting a little bit boring for me. So I would mix in like between the audiobooks and the podcast and some music here and there to keep my brain engaged and keep me going. Because then I don't feel like it's a complete waste of time. Let's say I was outside running for 30 minutes. Well, I actually learned something new while I was running, so I can improve my financial position in life. I can improve my business. I can learn how to improve, I can learn travel hacks or how to improve my relationship. But as long as I'm learning something while I'm exercising, and exercise actually helps reinforce the learning, whatever is going into your ear, so that it sticks in your brain. So there are a lot of benefits that you can get from this, just going out there and getting those muscles going. Another thing we talked about yesterday is high intensity interval training. So one of the things on the list, I told you to get a heart rate monitor, or you can use your Apple Watch if you have one. So what you want to do is get an app called iCardio. I'm going to type it in here. iCardio. Let's see. And go in the App Store and get this app, iCardio, and download it to your phone. And it also syncs with your watch or with your heart rate monitor that you purchased off of the equipment list. And this is going to get you to do your zones. So the way you do HIIT is you need to do a 10-minute run, a warm-up run, and then after 10 minutes of just running at a normal pace, let's say you'll probably be in like zone 2 or zone 3, then you want to do an all-out sprint and go up to heart rate zone 5. And I'll talk more about what everybody's heart rate zones are a little bit different, but I'll tell you how to mathematically get to those heart rate zones. In fact, I have a video that I'll share with you of me doing a full HIIT workout where I go up to zone 5 and then come back down to zone 1 and so forth. So you can follow that exact pattern, because that is how you're going to burn fat the fastest. And in fact, you'll be burning fat more than like 16 hours into the following day after your HIIT workout. So this This is the secret. Like, this is the hack right here. High intensity interval training. Now, I'm talking about it in terms of running, but you can do the same thing with bicycling, swimming, jumping rope, rowing. It just might be a little bit tougher. Running is very straightforward. You just get out there, put on your shoes, and do it. So after a 10-minute warm up, then you go up to zone 5. You're going to be sprinting, and you hear the zones in your ear. It tells you when you enter zone 1, enter zone 2, enter zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. And you want to hold it in zone 5 and keep running at that pace for 60 seconds. It's going to feel like the longest 60 seconds in your life. Like, you should be like dripping sweat and heart pounding, but that's a sign that you're doing it right. You only got to do it for a minute. A minute's not that long. After 60 seconds, start walking. Let your heart rate cool back down, and you're going to hear in your ear as the zones get back down to zone 1. Then as soon as it hits zone 1, start running again and get back up to a full sprint and hold that zone 5 sprint for another minute. So you're going to keep going through those cycles, and it's good to do it about 3 or 4 times. That's a good HIIT run. Now what that does is that works out your heart, and your heart is a muscle. It's the most important muscle in your body, right? So think about when you lift weights, like you're contracting your muscle and you're relaxing your muscle. You're contracting and you're relaxing it, and that is how you grow your muscle. Well, that's the same way you grow your heart, and your heart pumps blood more efficiently. You increase your VO2 max, and then that is going to burn fat more efficiently and actually burn fat into the next day. So the next day, that doesn't mean you take a day off. That means when you change up your cardio, you might go for a long walk in zone 2, because zone 2 is the fat burning zone. So while you're burning fat in zone 2, you're getting the benefit from the day before and from your HIIT workout the day before, and you're getting like the double burn. So this is how my students are able to get to a 6-pack in 6 weeks. Now, of course, it depends on who you are, but if you follow the pattern, this actually really works. But you can't go out there on a hunch. This is where I see people mess up, is they go out there and they try to feel like they're in zone 5. And it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm hurting, so I must be in zone 5. I'm just going to sprint for a little while and then walk, and then sprint and then walk. No, you need to measure it. You need to know that you're in zone 5. You need to know exactly which zone you're in, how long you're in each one, and do this. And you don't want to do this every day. So you only want to do it about 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, but 3 times a week is good. So like every other day or every 2 days, because you want to give the HIIT workout time to work while you do your other thing. So this is the hack. I'm gonna send you the video. If you join the full program, it's all explained in there. We go super in depth, walk you through it, and make sure you're doing it correctly. We hold you accountable. You have a coach working with you. But I'm giving you the game here where you can just do it on your own. The next myth is that you don't need to lift. That you need to lift heavy weights. So we're going to talk more about strength training tomorrow. Today is all about burning the fat. But I wanted to bring this up because so many guys, and I say guys because it's mostly guys, dismiss the cardio and the fat burning part. And they think you'll need just about a 10-minute warm up of cardio is good. And then all they want to do is bench press and just hit the weights, and then lift these super heavy weights and try to max out on the bench. And then they end up getting injured. And the older we get, when you get injured, it really takes you out the game. And then since you're injured, now you can't run, you can't do the cardio, it hurts to do everything, and then you get super fat. So it really does you no good to go and lift all of this super heavy weight. I won't say it does you no good. Like, it does boost your testosterone, but you can achieve the same with body weight. And that's mostly what I do, is body weight exercises. And until you can do like 100 pull-ups nonstop or something, don't tell me that body weight exercises are for weak people or something, because I bet you can't do it. When you can do 100 pull-ups nonstop, then go throw on some weight. But when you get to that point, you'll be ripped anyway. So one trick here is to burn and build at the same time by doing reverse incline push-ups. So I'm 44 years old, and it really doesn't do me any good to just do regular like flat push-ups, because what that's going to do is it's going to build my chest, yeah, but it's building the bottom of my chest, and then gravity is working against me, so it's going to pull down that chest, and then I'm going to look like I have man boobs. So I always do reverse incline push-ups, because then I can work out the upper area of my chest. All right, so another thing I do is I do these at a very rapid pace. So I will knock out a set of 100 push-ups. Like one set will be 100 push-ups in a row. And you're like, well, damn, that's a lot of push-ups. Do you really? I can't do that. Like it scares off a lot of people. But I'm not doing like the full range of motion. Now, full range of motion does have its benefits. But listen, you're here to get a six-pack, and you can do it with short range of motion, what I call rapid fire push-ups. So you get on the floor and I count by 10. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. So that's 1. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. And you do that. And what you're doing is it's almost like you're holding that plank position. So you're getting the rips in your, you feel it in your abs, but at the same time, you're building your chest up here and getting definition up there with the body weight exercise. So this is how you get that ripped core, and you get a defined chest that makes your chest stick out, your core go in, because you're burning and you're building at the same time. So this is one of those hacks. Again, we'll talk more about this tomorrow. We're going to get into some more exercises, but this is key. So right now I do about 500. So I'll do 5 sets of 100 rapid fire incline push-ups like this. And I try to get that in every day, at least every other day. But really, I just make it a part of my routine every day to get that in, mix it in with pull-ups. I get my runs in, I mix those up. So one day I'll do HIIT. The next day I might just do a long jog. And then the next day I might do HIIT again. And then the next day I might just do a lot of walking. But at a bare minimum, I'm getting 10,000 steps in. Well, right now I'm at 15,000 steps a day. But starting out, if just getting 10,000 steps a day, if you aren't already doing that, that needs to be the baseline minimum of the cardio that you're getting in. Now, you can measure that by getting a Fitbit, which is what I recommend, and which was on the equipment list yesterday. Or you can also do it with your Apple Watch. There's an app, well, it has steps built in, but there's an app called Pedometer Plus, which will make your Apple Watch act as a Fitbit. And you can easily just go to that app and see how many steps you've hit for the day. 10,000 steps a day minimum. Of course, you'll get some of that while you're doing your runs. That's going to be the big chunk of it. But you can also walk around, like work it into your day. Because you might be thinking, well, how can I, there's no way I can get 10,000 steps in, right? But you actually can if you could get a treadmill desk where you're working and you're walking at the same time. They're really cheap on Amazon. Just Google just put in Amazon like treadmill desk, under a table treadmill. You can go outside and take calls while you're walking around the neighborhood if you have that type of job. There was a gentleman on the call yesterday who's a truck driver. Now that makes it really tough because you have to sit down and drive the truck. You can't be walking around. But at every single truck stop, man, I would get out and I would be running around as much as I can while the truck is pumping. And, when you get to your resting place, get to your hotel, make sure you get in as much as you can, because you have to counteract all of those hours of sitting. All right, the next myth is that fat burning supplements are harmful and don't work. This can be farther from the truth. If you take the right fat burning supplements, they will accelerate your results, and it's like a compound effect. Like, you can get out here and do all this work. Yeah, you'll eventually get a six-pack, when you're older. It might be a year or two down the road. But with the right combination of caffeine and fat burning supplements, you can just shed the pounds and be shredded before you know it. That's the secret. And so I'm going to tell you exactly which supplements to take. And these you can't just go get in GNC. This is stuff that people don't want you to know about. But this is the fast burn kit right here. So I'm going to go through each one of these and tell you what they do. Now, I'll start with Burn AM, which is pretty self-explanatory. you take it in the morning and it helps burn the fat. Now, Burn AM actually doesn't contain any caffeine. And I know there are some people who have a sensitivity to caffeine. I think it's actually really rare. Most people just don't like it and don't like the side effects of caffeine because it may make you feel jittery at first. It's going to make you go to the bathroom, which is actually great because a lot of the weight you're carrying around is just poop inside of you that you need to get out anyway. So I drink a cup of coffee. I drink a cup of coffee in the morning, take the Burn AM, and then pre-step 1 and pre-step 2 actually do have caffeine, especially pre-step 2, it has caffeine in it. But you want to take those two right before your morning workout. And then and then intra is you want to take as a recovery. That's what that's for. You take that right after your workout. Now, I'm going to give you the link to where you can get these at 40% off retail. You can only get it through the link I'm going to give you. Everywhere else is going to be way more expensive, but you can use my link and get it at the discounted rate. And then of course, Sleep Multiplier it's exactly what it says. It helps you go to sleep and get more quality sleep because you actually burn fat while you sleep. I experience this all the time, but if you're stressed out and you're not sleeping well, then you feel bloated and you feel fat. Man, there's so many times when I get just a good night's rest, and then when I get on the scale in the morning, I'm like way down, my pounds are way down, my body fat's down. And only thing I did different was get a really good night's rest. And Sleep Multiplier helps you with that. So there are a lot of other supplements that this company offers, Prestige Labs. I have a partnership with them, and I'm able to get you this stuff at a discount way lower than they sell it for or anybody else sells it for, at least 40% off. It's even a little bit more than that if you sign up for the subscribe and save deal, which I recommend you should, but at least try it out first. Get one kit, and you can get this at sixpacksups.com. So that's, let me put it in here. So that's sixpacksups.com. All right, I'm gonna put it in the chat too. Let's see, where's my chat? Sixpacksups.com. All right, so check it out and get yours. That is your homework assignment to grab the Fast Track supplements there. And you can read all about them there and see what they do. But just trust me, they work and they will work for you. So your homework assignment, work out 10,000 steps. I want to see your results. In fact, did anybody do the actual homework assignment yesterday? You were actually supposed to get in your 10,000 steps and show it to me. If you did, go ahead and tell me and show me. If not, make sure you get it in today and every single day. And then your next is to do 100 rapid fire push-ups. And you can break it if you need to break it up into like 3 sets or 5 sets throughout the day, or maybe check some emails, then jump down on the floor and knock out a set of push-ups, and then 30 minutes later, knock out another set. Just do whatever you can. Do a minimum of 100 rapid fire push-ups with the incline like I showed you. And then your homework is to buy the equipment. If you didn't get it yesterday, which was your homework yesterday, to go buy the equipment that you need to work out at home, and to buy the supplements pack at sixpacksups.com. And remember, excuses are tools for the incompetent. They build monuments of nothingness. Those who choose to use them seldom amount to anything. So you can rattle off all these excuses in your head about that are going to keep you from doing what you need to do. Oh, I can't run because of this. Oh, I can't get the equipment because, I'm waiting for my paycheck. Oh, I can't get the supplements because I'm allergic to whatever. Man, just do the thing, get the thing, and this isn't medical advice. If you really, really have some allergy, something like that, man, show me a doctor's note, because first of all, only like 0.5% of the population has some type of allergy like that. But try it before you knock it, and don't give yourself the excuses, because excuses will keep you where you are, and you're here because you want a new you. You want a new life. And man, when I tell you that having a six-pack will give you the utmost confidence that you can have, man, I just can't even describe it, because it's like I talked about yesterday. It's that butt naked confidence that you have in yourself. No luxury or exotic car can give you that same confidence. No watch can give you that confidence. No balling out in VIP can give you that confidence. That's all borrowed confidence. But when you feel great about how you are in your flesh, that is pure 100% confidence. And that's what I want for you. So do the homework assignment, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Now, if we have any questions, I'll answer them really quick, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And let's see. Don't see any in the chat. Does anybody want to pop on and ask a question? If not, we will wrap it up. You guys also should have gotten the email. I did do a recap of day one because I know some people had technical difficulties. I'll try to do one every day. I'm not sure if I'll be able to. It's all about if technology cooperates with me. But you can just reply to that email. It'll come right to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, or give you any feedback about your workouts, HIIT, anything like that. All right. Is there a certain height we should do the push-ups? Oh, that's great. It's a great question. So the more of an incline, the better. But at least if you have some incline. Let me go back to that slide. So like you saw the guy doing it on a yoga ball, and this guy did it on a bench. So that's a decent incline. Sometimes I'll do it on the rail. My wife hates when I do this, but the rail in my house, I'll do it gives you a steeper incline. But yeah, the steeper incline, the better. So the science of it is that if you're at a steeper incline, it's going to work out more of the upper chest. So if you're at a lower incline, it's going to work out more down here. But just stay away from doing the flat push-ups, like just the normal, like get on the ground and doing them, because that's going to build out your chest down here, and then gravity is going to pull it down. So the higher you can do, the better. But stay safe with it also. You don't want to like slip and break your neck. All right, cool. All right, do your homework. I will see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. for day 3. We are going to talk about building. So let me get rid of this. I gotta learn how to use this. Okay. So day 1, we talked about breaking down your beliefs. Day 2, today, we talked about how to burn the fat. Day 3, we're going to talk about building. We're going to go in deeper on the actual strength training exercise that you need to do in the right areas, in the most efficient ones that are going to give you the results that you want, so you can see those cuts. All right. So that's what you have to look forward to tomorrow. I'll see everybody then.